culture. I cut my way out podcast. Tune us in. We on the grind like. I put the clippers in my hand. I got a whole different plan. I gotta see how this play out. Hoping that it pay out. Trying to cut my way out. Yeah, I put the clippers in my hand. I got a whole different plan. I gotta see how this play out. Hoping that it pay out. Trying to cut my way out. I used to dream as a kid on the porch of the crib and make it big and one day endorse where I live.
And welcome back to another episode of I Cut My Way Out. I am Kenneth Jenkins at Kenneth Jenks 1 on Instagram, at Ken Jenks on Facebook. And we are on Twitter at I Cut My Way Out. I am joined by my gracious brother, friend, scholar, and brother. Did I say brother already? But gracious co-host. Go ahead and give them your addies.
All right. Ashra Knox on Facebook. Beard _ culture _4 on Instagram, and also A_ Knox the Barber 4 on Instagram. And we also share a joint Instagram page that deals with our podcast that we're currently dealing with right here, right now at I Cut My Way Out _pod.
Yes, and yep, and we are available everywhere where you can listen to podcasts, most notably YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, iHeart. We just put us in the search engine, whether you use Google, Bing, Yahoo. I Cut My Way Out podcast. We should come up number 1. And again, we're back. We have a great guest again. Before we bring them in, just how have you been, partner?
I've been good, man. Just grinding, man. Just getting after it. That's it.
All right, you feeling good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, man. Had that second vaccination, man, and you know, had a couple of symptoms, a little fever and body aches for a minute, but I'm good. Bounced back real quick within 24 hours, and I'm good.
All right. Well, I'm good myself. You know, doing the 9 to 5 thing, so I'm just locked in, trying to get some inspiration, motivation from you all, you're entrepreneurs. But I don't have nothing else. If you have anything, if you don't have nothing else, go ahead and introduce our guest with the fire intro.
Jump right into it. Today we have an extremely special guest. As all of our guests, man, we have just been knocking them down and having inspirational barbers on here that, you know, share their stories. And today is no different. Today we have this gentleman is from Alabama, and we'll get more into that in terms of his whereabouts. But he's a barber battle champion. He's a platform artist. He's an educator. A 4-time award-winning barber specializing in fade and designs. Does it all. Watch him on Instagram. Coloring, styling. It seems that there's nothing that this gentleman cannot do. He's also a student of the trade as he continues just to continue to learn and grow and provides inspiration and motivation to the craft. Without further ado, we would like to bring to you Bobby Harris. I am Bobby Harris. How you doing, man? It's a pleasure to have you, bro.
Man, it's a pleasure to be here, man. Thank you for that wonderful intro. And for those who don't know me, my name is Bobby Harris. I'm originally from a small town called New Albany, Mississippi. I'm like, if you drive fast enough on the E-way, you blink, you'll probably miss it. That's just exactly how small it is. But
so
you know,
I hate to interrupt you, but my family is from Greenville, so I'm that Interstate 61 is. So where?
Yes.
What highway is New Albany on?
New Albany is initially on Highway 78, headed towards Alabama.
Okay, so it's south. Okay.
Yeah, right. It's the northeast it's the northeast part of Mississippi. Greenville is more towards the south, the 601 region.
Yep, sure is.
Yeah,
yep.
So it's the northeast part.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You know, you said Mississippi, so my antennas went up. So
I'm
sorry. Okay. And so you're originally from Mississippi. And you're currently in Alabama, right?
No, I'm still living in Mississippi, and the shop that I work in is in Memphis. Okay. The brand that I'm affiliated with is stationed out of Alabama, so you'll see me tag that location a lot. You'll see me down there a lot because that's where we're stationed out of.
Okay. We're kind of having a hard time hearing. I know I did. It didn't come out clear. You good?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Perfect. Yep. Hear you perfect.
Okay. Yes, what I was saying was, like, I'm originally from Mississippi and I'm still in Mississippi. And the shop that I work in is actually in Memphis. The reason why most people would say, hey, he's from Alabama is because the company that I'm associated with and I work for is stationed out of Alabama because the owner he's a native of Bessemer, Alabama. So being mentored and being his mentee, you'll see me down there a lot, working with him, learning the business, growing and developing myself.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so you're in Mississippi, shop is in Memphis, and you spend a lot of time in Alabama, because that's where I thought you were located. So I apologize on the intro. So I had everything right except Alabama.
Fine. Okay. It's fine.
Okay.
It's fine, because I promise you that's my second home. So that's my second home. It's really no different. That's second home for me.
Okay. So give us a little about your background, just, kind of coming up and just your introduction to the barber industry.
Well, for those that don't know me, my name is Bobby Harris. I'm from that small town in Mississippi called New Albany, Mississippi. And, other than the barber battle champion, the award-winning barber, the educator, mentor, and a host of other things, this story is going to blow y'all away, but just sit back, because it's going to be something real. It's going to be something you will want to hear. Actually, I never knew I could cut hair till I actually went to barber school. I never knew how. It was never on my plate. It was something I never wanted to do. At that age, I was one of those guys that was like a lot of young men at the age of in their early 18, going into their 20s. They was traveling down the wrong road. Okay. But I was always well educated and well spoken. But hanging with the wrong people can tear you to do other things. So one fateful day, a dude decides he wants to come to my front yard about some beef over the phone, some hearsay, she-say, and he thinks he's gonna allegedly beat me up. So I took care of him, and one fateful day, I decided I had a date with a female. Again, living the wrong life. The date with a female, I've been trying to get this female for the longest, so I finally did it. So I decided to pay a visit to my uncle, Michael. And Michael was no ordinary uncle. This guy you can get a fish plate from for $5, a CD or a DVD from for $5, a yard cut for $25, and a haircut of your choosing for $5 to $10. And it all depends on what you know. He sold some, I can say it now because he's gone, but he sold some other stuff too.
Right.
And so I go down there and it's a small town, so word gets around fast. So my mama had called him and told him what's going on. And by Michael always being the guy that look out for me and can talk some sense into me, I'm sitting down there getting my hair cut, and he's telling me, Now tell me what happened in this front yard. You down there whooping up on this boy in your mom's front yard. So just tell me exactly how this happened. They say you put something on it. And I'm like, man, you know how I go. He talked to me crazy. I had to do what I had to do. And I'm like, me, I don't play that. He was like, son, you are the smartest people I know. You're a very gifted young man, and you have a voice that changes people. He was like, and you have never in your life thought that you might just have a calling in your life. And me being me, I shrugged my shoulders. I'm like, oh, here we go. I'm like, man, do you not realize what your occupation is in the hood? And now you trying to be a pastor too? I'm like, well, yeah, I know. He was like, son, I'm going to just tell you something. God's got a purpose for you. You just haven't locked on to it yet. And he was like, man, I really believe your gift is to change people and talk to people. You just traveling down the wrong road. I'm like, well, thank you, elder, pastor, and deacon. This is the best conversation on earth you can give me. And all I want is a haircut. He was like, yeah, son, but let me tell you something. One day, you're going to change everything. And a lot of people are going to look to you for the same conversation that I'm giving with you. And your mama told me you wanted some clippers for Christmas. Now, what's that about? Son, you ain't got no idea that you want to cut hair. You don't want to go to school. You don't want to do nothing. So you want some clippers? And I heard you jack your uncle up, you put a Nike sign that's the size of a catfish pond. Well, what's going on? You know how long it took me to fix that? I'm like, Uncle, you know, I was just trying something. He was like, but son, the details in your fade was unreal. He was like, son, you never went to see. He was like, I really, your gift is with people in your hands. I'm like, okay, Uncle, so what are you saying? Nephew, what I'm saying is this might be my last time cutting your hair. And I'm like, oh, Lord, here you go. Let me guess, you quitting again? So you finna quit this to go do that food truck. You finna sell plates off the back of the S10, right? No, nephew, this might be my last time cutting your hair. But what I want you to do is I want you to go up there and let my brother-in-law, Alan Christmas, teach you the rest of the way. Because I really think you're special and you have a gift. And he was like, nephew, this is my last time, probably. More likely it's gonna be my last time cutting your hair. Think about what I said, and I want you to know, son, you're gonna be me to many of people, just like I'm talking to you. I'm like, all right, on God, think about it. I'm like, you put the lines and stuff in my hair like I like. He was like, son, I gave it to you just the way you wanted it. Your taper, your lines in the back, you ready to go. You and the female go have fun. And you know, y'all have to bear with me because this is kind of a touching part of my life. And so after the date and everything happened and all of that good stuff, I stayed in a trailer park, Rest Haven Trailer Park in New Albany, Mississippi. You know, I was working a job at K Furnitures. And you know, I get home to the trailer, I get a phone call from my mama. And you know, it's Monday night. Mama either want to do one or two things. Borrow some money or go to bingo, or me give her some money to go to bingo. One of the two. That's it. Right. So I'm ahead of the groove. And I'm like, yes, ma'am, Mama, what's going on? You need some money for bingo? I'm just trying to hurry and get this out the way because I'm tired. Nah, baby, sit. Where you at? I'm like, I'm at the house, Mama. What's going on? Baby, I want you to sit down. I'm like, Mama, and I noticed something was different in her voice. I'm like, okay, I'm sitting down. She's like, baby, I don't know how you gonna take this, but Mama got something to tell you. I'm like, well, I'm cool. I'm sitting down. She was like, baby, Sunday morning they found Michael dead in his house. And I'm like, what you mean, baby? They found him dead in his house. I think he died roughly right around Friday. And I just got my haircut from mom. And I'm like, Mama, come on, Mama, chill out. Whoa, stop. I just talked to Michael Friday. What are you talking about? Mama, they're like, baby, they found him dead. They say his heart got the best of him and he just passed. And she was like, but he left a box with a note on it strictly to you. And I think the box say Andis or something like that. Baby, come up here and read what this letter say. I jumped in my car. Normally it takes me 20 minutes to get to my house. It took me 5 days. I got to the house, opened up the letter. It was his clippers. Okay. And it was a letter in there. And it said, that was my last time cutting your hair. But take this gift and put it with your gift and go out and touch the people. Love you. I'll be watching. In July 11, 2011, I joined Foster's Cosmetology and I never looked back.
Wow. So just not to delve in too much, but did he know something health-wise was going on?
That I don't know. Mike was a stubborn kind of cat. Yeah. And you know, it don't even matter what's going on. He gonna fight through it. Right. I'm almost willing to bet he did, but at the time he probably wouldn't have never told me. Right. Like that. Right. You know.
Wow. Sorry to hear that, bro.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah. It's all good.
So at that time, so you end up going to school in 2011, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where was the school? What was the name of the school again?
The school was called Foster Cosmetology. The late, great Miss Hazel Foster opened the school, like I would say, in the early 1900s.
Okay.
You know, and it's a Black-owned school, and it's family funded and a host of things like that. And you know, when I went to school,
mm-hmm.
I knew I had to make my uncle proud, but I didn't know how. Okay. Because I thought I was good, but when I got to seeing things and you know, I applied myself to learning, but you know, I wasn't no good at it, man. You know, I was cutting babies' ears. I would mess up a ball fade. It just seemed like it wouldn't click.
Right.
But you know, one fateful day, I was just cutting, and my partner Sam said, "Man, just cut. Stop being scared." And something clicked inside of me. And the next thing I knew, everything started graduating at an extremely high rate. Right. And you know, before I knew it, I graduated barber school, and my instructor asked me to come back and be an instructor. And he was like, "You got leadership skills." Okay. And I'm like, "I got what kind of skills?" He's like, "You got leadership skills. You're a leader." And the last person to do it was my instructor, Mr. Kendall Atkinson, in 97. And I was the one right after him to actually do it. It's the second person to actually go to school there, graduate, get their instructor's license in.
Wow. Okay. So from that point, once you got out and so did you immediately come back or did you go into a shop?
I've actually worked there most of my career. The shop that I'm in now in Memphis is the second shop I've ever worked in.
Okay.
I was used to the school system and how the school works and teaching people. I never really just got into the opportunity of becoming in the shop environment. So that's how that happened.
Okay. So how long have you been in the shop?
Right now, I'm on my 6th year being in the shop.
Okay. And so that cosmetology experience, that says everything. Because man, I've watched your work from cutting, designs to styling to color, and man, you got the whole gamut. You were all with it all.
And just being honest, I really didn't get styling savvy till I met my mentor, Mr. Kevin Kirk.
Okay.
And my coloring that's when everything started gelling.
Okay. And we're gonna get into that too.
Yeah.
Because it was actually from you that I learned about KirkPro. You had put a post up and you guys were at BronnerBros and doing your thing. And I watched on Netflix and all that, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah. That was your post that led me and my wife to watching that.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So we talked about you competing and doing all you know, a little bit of everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where did your passion so coming in decline? What's going on? So starting off kind of slow with the craft and not knowing that you were blessed with the gift, and then you hit your stride. Where did the competing come from?
One fateful day in the first shop I worked at in Memphis, the barbershop remix, me and my brother to this day, Bob, Cole, and my late friend Shay, we was all in the shop late night. We was working. And you know, this is kind of funny. Me and Bob got a credit limit increase of a nice amount from Navy Federal. And you know, the ticket salesman Donovan came around and got to talking, "Man, you ever heard of BronnerBros?" And Bob said, "Hey, Bob, that's that big show in Atlanta." I'm like, "Man, I just got a credit limit increase because we just went and picked this Hellcat up in the morning." And you know, and I had the Grand Marquis, you know, and I was like, "Hey, dude, we can afford it." And he was like, "I'll give y'all a discount on the booth. Let's go." I'm like, "Man, I got to go to the house and pack some clothes. Man, with the credit limit increase we got, we going to buy the clothes when we get there, dog." We all hopped in. So we all hopped in the car. He hopped in the Hellcat, him and Cole. I hopped in the Grand Marquis, me and Shay. We literally left the shop with what we had on, went straight to Atlanta to the BronnerBros show. And what I didn't know, something amazing triggered. I got into the show. You know, we all walking around. Bob went that way. I went my own little way. I saw the likes of Jay Majors before I even knew who Jay Majors was. Hawk, G Wiz, Kenny Duncan. I got to see in this environment, and all I kept hearing was his voice saying, "You belong here. Welcome." So I got to shaking hands and whatnot. Sunday night, and I'm like, and I just so happened to see it. I see giraffes and stuff like that going in another room. I'm like, what the do they got going on with a giraffe, with camels and stuff like that? And you know, so I said, man, hey y'all can go back to the room, and I'm gonna go see what they talking about, because word on the street is they battling for $10,000. He's like, well, hold on, I'm going there with you. So we decided to get in there. I'm watching this hair battle. This ain't no regular hair battle. I'm like, man, what they doing all this for? This got to be some money on the line. 10 bands is on the line. So I got the concept of, you know, we VIP, so we in the front row. We kicking it all, that good stuff. We feeling like somebody, because remind you, we got a nice little increase. So we living life like it ain't no tomorrow. We in there laughing, we good.
Right.
So that voice tells me again, you belong here. And I'm like, oh, okay. Man, okay. So I watch all of them, and then the moment of truth comes. Here comes Mr. Kevin Kirk. He's won 3 of them. This is 4th time competing. This is 4th competition. And what I know that he was about to win. So here he comes with angels and stuff flying all over the place. Gospel music playing, everybody. I think I was the only person in there that didn't get saved. I think I was the only one in there that wasn't. So next thing I know, I look up, I'm like, cuz he flying. Cuz I don't know who that dude is, but he flying and cutting hair, man, the hair falling down. Everybody in there crying, because you don't know nothing make us cry like gospel music.
Right.
And I'm like, man, the man flying, he's flying. I'm like, oh, I don't even know who cuz he is. There's 2 things I know for sure. I hope he don't fall, and he won.
Right.
So he won.
Right.
And that whole time, I'll never forget the song "You Are Everything" with Ty Tribbett. And that voice just said, this is your time. This is your time. So I'm finna wake something up inside of you. And I'm reflecting on that memory when my uncle told me God had a calling for you. See, I tell people all the time, be mindful of the voices inside of your head when it's telling you that the greatness is on the way. Because what you don't understand is you finna go through some things to get through some things, but you're gonna be glad you did. So, boom, flying dude won. That's who he was at the time, the flying dude.
Right.
He won, and so I bump into a local native from Memphis that works with Exotics by Curtis Smith, Terrell Styles.
Okay.
And he was like, yeah, yo, ain't you Barber? I'm like, yeah, what's up? Oh, yo, man, I'm Terrell Styles. We got this thing going on at the FedEx Forum, the Barber and Beauty Basketball Expo. I'm like, okay, so what do you say? Yo, man, I seen your work, man. You tight. I think you should compete. I'm like, pause. Why? What am I supposed to do? And you just do what you do in the shop. But you're doing it on stage. I'm like, man, I don't know about all that. Oh, cuz you tripping now. Oh, Terrell came to the shop every day. You should compete. You should compete. Man, he got on my nerves so bad. I said, man, sign me up. Sign me up. Sign me up. Showtime day. My little nephew, same one that compete. That's all. Did you see me in every competition? I take him. We do 3D highborn fade. It was just something that I always wanted to do. You know, cool. And needless to say, my first time competing, I placed second by 1 point.
Okay. Wow.
And I did not know the likes of Deanna Folks, Jay the Blade Anthony, and a host of industry titans was in there and watching. I didn't know who these people were. All I knew was they was looking at my haircut like they liked it. I didn't know who they was. Right. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So a week later, no, about 3 weeks later, I get a call from a guy named Chris Vaughn and a lady named Micah Renee, Beast Mode 3, the cut party in Nashville. And I'm roughly new to this. I'm like, what is a cut party? These folks do the most nowadays. I'm like, but okay. I decided to go. Mike Jennings is in the building, and the likes of Tammy Charles and a host of industry titans was in that building. And I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm going up here for. But let's go. My homeboy from the shop jumped in the car with me. We rolled up there. The only thing me and him knew in our head was there was a lot of females there. So,
Right.
One thing about
Right.
it, if this don't pan out, that will pan out. So,
right.
So again, here comes this voice again. It's time. Man, they played our signature Yo Gotti music. Man, it seemed like me and my partner almost turned the stage over. We was rocking so hard. And I was just putting a design in his head at the same time. And the next thing I know, that voice said it's time. And from Beast Mode 3, I took off. I hit every show aggressively, win, lose, or draw. I hit every show because I knew this is what I wanted to do.
Investing in your craft.
Investing. I was going to classes. I wanted to do every cut part. I wanted to do every competition because I knew if I wanted to get to where that flying dude was, I had to do some kind of groundwork. I didn't know exactly where I was going, but I knew where I wanted to go.
Right. So how many competitions have you participated in, and kind of tell us about just that experience of winning that BronnerBros first place in the Andis total look competition with the first virtual show?
I think I've done over 50 competitions, and I've placed in 27 of them.
Wow.
And I got 14 by way of first place.
Okay.
And actually the Andis competition is kind of crazy because BronnerBros was shut down. The world was shut down at the time.
Right.
But I still had a chance to compete. It was just virtually. And I'm like, well, it can't be that much of a difference. The only thing is I'm going to be at the house.
Right.
And at that time, I met up with Kevin and all those types of guys. I'm just getting the blueprint of how they win and stuff like this. So I'm like, cool, let me try it this way. Because I've lost the Andis competition twice.
Okay.
By trivial things. By the first time in New Orleans, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just up there having fun. It was just fun to me. But the cover job was something to see. Okay. And the second time I did it in Atlanta, the judge told me everything was flawless. It's just I didn't cut enough hair on top of the head. And I'm like, that's how I lost you. Like, yeah, that's what bumped you down in fourth place. You didn't cut enough hair. You didn't show a full transformation. Remember, show a full transformation. So I just settled everything in, A show happened. When Shay got killed, I sat out that year because that was the same year I made my debut as a KirkPro educator and platform artist. So I sat out that year because my mind wasn't nowhere near in it. But when the virtual show came around, I grabbed my nephew, which I didn't know I could use my nephew because my nephew is like the key right there. So I asked him, could I use my nephew? They're like, yeah, you can, but you got to sign off on this paper, sign off on that paper. His parents got to show ID, you got to show ID, and everything good. So I reached out to his mom, told him what was going on and all of that. And he was clear. And so we went to the cheap suit store. And I think we spent like maybe $120 for the whole outfit, maybe. Colored his hair. And, he was in virtual school, so he was cool. I just gave him some earphones and all that good stuff. And so, it's time to compete. And something changed because it was an hour this time, versus 30 minutes. And it was to give you your best. And I said, can I ask you one favor? Can I use 2 other tools outside of this Andis product? Can I use 2 other tools? I grabbed the same trimmers that mimic the ones I had of Michael's. And I grabbed another one of my favorite fade clippers. Man, 1 hour passed by, the haircut was done. I was nervous for 2 weeks because I didn't know if I won or lost. But man,
so it wasn't an instant thing. Okay.
It wasn't an instant. We waited it out to the actual show. So we did the show. I got to watch myself compete and everything. And I was a nervous wreck because at the same time I was working it from a virtual standpoint. You ain't watching it from a virtual standpoint.
Right.
And the Barber battle came in. Kev over there watching the chair from the Skyrockets, Tammy over there holding on to it because she's competed in the Don't Rush Challenge. And I was like, man, I hope I got it. I hope I got it. And then the more and more I watched, I said, ooh, oh man, come on now. I remember everything they told me. And when they called my name first place, man, it seemed like I melted because that was the one title I always wanted right there.
That's what's up.
Where I could go one-on-one. And to be able to represent a city in Tennessee, it was a beautiful experience. And to have a team behind me to help guide me and help show me different tricks of the trades and stuff like that, it was just a blessing in disguise.
That's what's up. So with it being virtual, like how did the prize system work the same? Was everything the same? It was just virtual?
It was just virtual. Like I went to the studios. I went to the studio in Alabama and did everything in the nice studio. And it was the same thing. You just couldn't. But this time you don't got the roaring crowd, the cheering people or anything just like this. You just got you're modeling yourself. You just got to do everything. But the one thing I loved about what happened the most was before we do anything with KirkPro, we always give a prayer to God first. Okay. We always pray our way through everything. And, you know, to go from being a loner and doing it by yourself to doing it with a team. Right. And some people, the people that call you family, it makes a world of difference. Right. It really does. It makes a whole world of difference.
Yeah, I was watching, and Jinx, jump in anytime you feel, bro.
Okay, yeah, I just got a few, like, you know, I know you say you've done over 50, you've won over time. Can you accept anything but first place at this point, or basically is there moral victories?
I just look at it like this right here. Competitions is therapeutic to me. It's kind of fun. And it's a way for me to get up there and push myself to another level. Win, lose, or draw. You know, some I didn't win. Some I probably should have placed higher, but I didn't. But, you know, it was just a learning curve for me. It was just the learning curve. It really sharpened my skills to where it is today, because when you're competing with guys like Johnny Akins, Deshaun Jones, Nas from the Wall team, and you got a host of other guys from all over the world, Aaron Davis from the West Coast, and guys, stuff like that, you can't help but to grow. Right. And that's really what competition was for me, was just a method to sharpen my skills so I could grow. Because again, I wanted to be like the flying dude that I saw a couple of years ago. So I have to grow. You know, I have to learn to shake this stuff off. You know, because I said it before, all this stuff rigged, this stuff set up. But man, the bottom line, once maturity hit, this thing is all about growth. And until you understand loss, you're never going to really understand growth. That's just my take on competition.
Right. That's what's up. That's what's up.
So how do you,
go ahead.
Just one more.
No, you good.
How do you turn it off? You know, like, and you may answer, but just you work in the shop, you barber for a living, then you compete. Do you turn it off, or is it just a competition in yourself when somebody just walks in the shop on a random day to get a cut?
And when these people come in and tell me, man, I want you to do me like you did in that hair show, man, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. Eventually, both of them tied in with each other. You know, it's the same rhythm. It's the same flow. It's just you're not doing it on a higher scale. But when I'm cutting hair, it always seems like I'm on that platform. Right. It always seems like I'm doing this in front of millions of people. And whether people don't like it or other people do like it, I'm still performing and getting myself ready. Because from the shop to the stage, even though it is a different environment and you do have a certain time limit and competition versus just behind the chair, is always going to be two different things. But over a time period, and when you learn to love it, man, both of them tie in together. And that's actually what makes you that much more dominant as a barber.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's what's up. So going to, you know, all these shows, the education piece, pushing yourself to get better and better and sharpen your skills. Tell us about, you know, I noticed that you promote KirkPro a lot. Can you tell us and the listeners about KirkPro, exactly what that is for the listeners that don't know, and how that opportunity came about and actually what part and what role you play in the KirkPro team?
Well, KirkPro is a product line designed by the 4-time BronnerBros champion, Kevin Kirk, out of Bethlehem, Alabama. It's a stylist line. It consists of the trifecta, R9, and pseudo line. It's a line that he pushes because from the conversations that we have, all of his BronnerBros prize money, he took it and built KirkPro. And he's also the founder, one of the many founders of the Barbers Pro styling team. So, me and Kevin have heard of each other over the time period after the flying man thing, because Teddy had a cut party that I was supposed to go to, and I never made it, and I never really had a chance to make it a jam session. But we knew of each other, but it was just a hey thing, okay, so that's the fine dude. Okay, that's the Bobby guy. We just traveling along. So one fateful day at the Choose Multicultural Hair Show in Lake Charles, Louisiana, he was the host of a cut party. And at that time I was a barber in the cut party, and he always told me barbers are boring when it comes to cut parties because they're not entertaining and stuff like that. But it was my turn to go from a cut party. A good friend of mine decided she wants to be my model. And, I said, hey, I want to go to a DJ. I said, hey, I know I'm in Louisiana, but take me to Memphis. 3-6 Mafia, Yo Gotti, Young Dolph, Money Bag Yo. Take me home. Let's go home. And all I knew was I was going to turn this show out because it was a dead crowd. So I grabbed her, and I don't care what nobody says. If you got a fine female and you really know what you're doing, you finna turn this show out. So me and her killed it. I did a design in like 4 minutes tops. Cutting the design and put theatrics and acting with the stage and all of that stuff. And it blew him away. And, I got done. Everybody was cheering and all that good stuff. And, I walked outside. She followed me. She said, hey, Mr. Kevin, I want to talk to you. Okay. So I'm like, you talking about the flying dude? I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Let me go see what he's talking about. So I get up there. He said, host, there's something I want to ask you, something I want to tell you. I'm going to announce in front of everybody. I'm like, cool. So I'm standing there. He offers me to come to his battle jam session in Birmingham, Alabama, and compete in the freestyle design competition. And I'm like, cool, all right, cool. Ain't no big deal. Y'all wanted it. Y'all can catch it. I'm going. So I went, and something interesting happened in between that time period. I get an interesting phone call from BronnerBros that they want me to participate in the cut party. The main stage cut party. And I'm like, cut party, BronnerBros, that's Kevin's thing. I'm like, oh, okay. Somebody had to pull that string for me to get invited. I'm like, I'm willing to bet it was him. So that particular night, the young people was on stage last, right after Miss Freddie J and another lady, this icon. So it was me, Ricky Cole, and Vincent Bowles out of Louisiana. And after the cut party scene and everything, that's when I was with the Army Fatigue, the 2 ladies, with the little trifecta stand right there that we just put together on the fly. That happened, and, we all walked to the center of the stage, and Kevin said, these are the guys, and these are the new faces in the industry. They're going to dominate. And, after that cut party, a phone call happened that I wasn't even expecting, and it was from Kevin. And we got to talking it up. I'm like, yeah, man, I love your products and the Barbers Pro clips. He's like, yeah, man, them things is awesome. But check this out. You got potential, but you need training. And I want to extend my hand out to you. I want you to be the first barber of the KirkPro team. Many have called me, many have asked me, many have did it, but I never paid them any attention. But you're special. People like, and I'm like, okay, cool. What do we do? I'm gonna give you a location. My assistant gonna call you, and I want you to come to training. I went to training, and everything changed from there. Something else was born.
Wow, that's what's up. So, with that type of situation, does it come with compensation? Are you promoting? Like what's the benefit of opportunities like that outside of the exposure?
Well, one, you get to work coincide with the four-time BronnerBros champion and Miss Tabby B, the last year's Salon Medal champion. It comes with all the opportunities in the world. Because I'm just going to be the first one to tell you, if you can work for Kevin, you can work for any platform. Because he's way harder than any platform that's ever in your life been. He's like Adolf Hitler and Mr. Rogers wrapped in one. But it's the opportunities that what KirkPro did for me, it made me better than I could ever in my life imagine. Because versus just being a barber, I became a stylist. I became a colorist. I became a better speaker. I became a better educator. It's the value of growth that they put inside of you that makes you great. He's not going to go back. Now, one thing about it, he's not going to go back and forth with you about your success. But whatever you want and whatever you need, he's going to pull it out of you. And I'm glad to call this man my older brother. And me and him get on each other's nerves. We really get on each other's nerves. He gets on mine. I know I get on his. But I'm going to be honest with you. I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for him.
Yeah, definitely
I don't know.
A legend.
I don't know a more solid and better brother than this brother right here. This brother right here. You know, because in the midst of the beauty industry, you try to get on with this company, you try to get on with that company, you try to do this, you try to do that. And it seems like they don't really pay you much attention or anything else like this. But for someone of his stature, just a small portion of the four BronnerBros wins is small compared to what someone else he's done.
Really?
For him to take me as a nobody, just someone trying to grow and trying to build, for him to take me up under his wing and train me to be what I am today, I'm going to be honest with you, man. No amount of money can measure up to what he's done for me. I mean,
shout out to Kirk. Brother. That's what's up.
I owe this brother everything. And for me to be the first guy to be as a barber on his team and show the world that this is not just a line for stylists, it's a line for barbers too, because that look that you see on the BronnerBros show, it was achieved with KirkPro products. Everything was KirkPro.
Right.
And for me to show the world that, I'll gladly do that for him.
That's
and I'm making
and it's about paying it forward, man. And for those legends to give others the opportunity, that's big. That's big. Yeah, that's what's up, man. And congratulations to all your success, man. I'm watching and just follow so many barbers, man, and you were one of the ones, that I wanted to reach out to and get you on here. Just watching the educator, just having a plethora of skills, man, and you can tell you're passionate, but also on the real side, that also increases your value in terms of what you're doing to make a living.
I was just going to ask, these accolades, does the price go up, or is it just something that you just hang in the office, or No,
it definitely increases the value, because the one thing that we teach at KirkPro is increasing your value, is in having the confidence to go that far. I mean, we do this to take care of our families, to put our kids through college. So the first thing that you're going to have to understand is value. It's value in what you do. From when you sit at that table to get that education, to go back and apply these things. These things take your market to a whole new level.
Absolutely. And let me interject just for a second, because you spoke of BronnerBros. I'm a licensed barber, have my license since early 2000s. I kind of played with it. I always cut hair, but I did it on a part-time basis, and then just got out there, jumped, right? And it was the best decision I ever made in my life in terms of a career. I went to BronnerBros, bro, in 2019, and it was a life-changing experience. I'm like, what took me so long to go? It was life-changing, man. And like you said, learning that there's value in what we do, learning your value, knowing your value and your worth, sitting in some of those classes, just finding and taking things from a different perspective, man. Powerful, and wanting to continue to learn, man. So I think you hit it on the head, that opportunity for somebody with that level of greatness and that stature, you know, in the industry, to take you under his wing, that not only had to be a good feeling, but a confidence builder, knowing that, you know, what your uncle told you from way back when, you know, that
it
God
was a humbling
gave
thing, man.
Man.
Yeah, it was a humbling thing. And in another world, I really believe that Kevin is Michael reincarnated, because he's the only person on the face of this earth. I'm being honest. Like, Kevin is the one guy that can tell me something and it sinks in.
That's what's up.
And it makes sense. And versus being the guy versus being the manipulator, he's more of a mentor. He gives you that older brother feel to help you walk into this thing. And, you know, the biggest accolade for me in my whole career was at the virtual BronnerBros show when me and him shared a class. I was featured as his assistant in his class and to talk and do things in his class. That's like the biggest accolade of my career right there. Like,
that's
no
what's up.
accolade can measure up to that.
That's what's up. So before the next question, because I'm going to ask something about the whole educator thing, but just for the basic cut beard, how much at this point do you charge?
For cutting a beard and a shampoo, it's like roughly 50 to 55.
Okay. And at what point, how and when do you know personally when to increase your prices?
Anytime you feel it.
Okay.
If you go into these shows, you learning this education, you're practicing your work. You're doing what, as my old instructor would say, perfecting what you know. The higher you perfect that, the higher you go. There shouldn't be no limit on what you charge for. I say people pay thousands for iPhones, hundreds for Jordans, and goes and get cars they barely can afford. The oil change. I mean, they can pay that for you. Absolutely. The moment I realized that, I immediately started going up, and I really honestly haven't missed a beat, because there's two things in this industry that's going to happen. You're either going to grow with people or you're going to grow without people. And if you really want to get to your ticket, do something that me and Kevin say, the movement. Combine Barber and cosmetology, combine them both, and you'll see a substantial increase in your ticket. Do more, less people.
Wow.
And then you'll see something completely different.
Right. You hear that, James? Do more with less people.
Hey,
that's what's up.
What's up. Yeah. I, as a client, as somebody that's not a barber, like, hey, y'all do y'all. That's what's up. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
Presentation skills. That's what it'll do it. Yeah, presentation skills.
People gonna need a haircut, so you just you pay for what you get.
Presenting. Present it to them. The presentation skills. That's what that seals the deal on any tip. Your presentation skills, your ability to present them something that they would want.
That's what's up. So my next question. So we know you're an educator as well, and that is another added addition to what you do. Just so many lanes, and so many barbers are just people in the industry at this time are just taking advantage of the different lanes. So you'll be teaching a fading class at the Tennessee Barber Trade Show. I'll be there, so we get a chance. Me and my buddy will be there, so meet you face to face. How many classes have you taught? What are the qualifications when you're teaching at the barber shows?
I mean, a lot of them was just opportunities that was presented to me. Like the only one I filled out my class for BronnerBros, I didn't even know it got accepted to the day of. And, I have an educator, a teaching license. So, it's really nothing new to me. It's just, when MLB is like my family, KG, Nuri, Joe, Big J, the list goes on. And, I've won that show several times. And, I just reached out to them, KG and Nuri, and I'm like, hey, man, what I got to do to be a judge and an educator?
Okay.
And, they just presented a chance with me. They wanted me to bring my KirkPro product. They gave me a class. They wanted me to set up a vendor table. I handled all that business with them, and it's on. It's just relationships. That's how it happened, relationship. And another thing I do to set me apart from people is I give classes and I go back and attend classes because, despite the fact of no matter how high of a level you feel that you're at, you're as only as good as the last time. So you have to do things to prepare you for the future.
Absolutely. I see you posted today that you attended a class yesterday. What was it? Hunt Barber?
Yeah.
The enhancement.
A good brother of mine. A good brother of mine. A good brother of mine. And me and Hunt, we tight. And I support him. He support me. And what I can't see, my brother can see. That's just how
That's
I
what's up.
And I know, critique is needed because that old iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely.
So, that's one reason why I went up there, because Hunt's a monster in his own right.
Yeah.
He is a certified monster.
Absolutely. He's another one, man, I've reached out to. I haven't heard back. So I'm going to stay consistent with that. But yeah, he is an animal with them clippers, man.
Yeah, he's a monster. So, it's only prepping me for the next stage.
That's what's up. And that camaraderie and rubbing elbows, like you said, iron sharpens iron.
Oh, yeah.
You can always learn. Nobody's ever too good to continue to learn.
Exactly.
That leads into my next question. Can you tell the listeners, just with your background on both sides, barbering, cosmetology, and an educator, how important continuing education is in the industry from your perspective?
Continuing your education is the most important thing that you could possibly ever do, because it's a saying that I live by. He who learns everything, the only thing just he can learn is failure. You're only setting yourself up for failure. Stop. Right. Separate yourself from the people and go out and educate yourself. Continue your path. If you want to get licensed in this thing, go get licensed in this thing. Don't blow all your money on YouTube subscriptions. Blow your money on classes and get certified and be around like-minded people like yourself.
Absolutely.
Your education is everything. Don't be one of them guys that's behind the chair and you know everything, because you're a long way from knowing everything. You even myself, I don't know everything. But from Mr. Kirk, Hunt, and a host of other barbers that I know, iron sharpens iron.
Absolutely.
So go get educated. Absolutely. And continue your education. No matter, even if you win the biggest of the biggest hair battles, still be a student to the game. When you stay a student, the graduation process is actually iconic. It's more to it than just a degree or the diploma. Right. It's an iconic graduation, because icons build with time. They don't build with, oh man, I mean, the listeners done heard it before. Oh man, I'm chasing my bag. I don't want the trophies no more, the spotlight. I don't do barber shows. I want this money. I want this money. Step away from getting the money for a little while and do your part. That's how we stop deregulation. When we take away from, when we stop getting this money and we go back to the old schools and teach, and we get back educated, and we treat this industry as what it is, because it is sacred.
Absolutely.
And it's a gift. And it's a...
Go ahead. No, with that, we often ask questions. So with that being said, with your education, to you, how important is it for barbers and cosmetologists to be licensed? In a lot of places you have unlicensed barbers practicing and considering themselves barbers. What is your take on that?
Well, being licensed is key. I know there's a lot of people out there on YouTube teaching without license. There's a lot of people out there that believe that just because it's cultural, you don't need license or anything else like this. Right. But licensing is key. Doing your bookkeeping is key. Everything is key. Why would you want to go out there and be something illegal and something that's worth $24.4 billion a year? Ooh. It's $100,000 to $200,000 for you. Your license is everything. Your license is what's going to change your life. I say this all the time. Why would you go work for somebody else's brand, but you don't want to work for your own? Okay. They'll give you their format of what worked for their dream, but you don't even know the format for yours. But you have a God-given gift that requires only a year to a year and a half of your life, 1,500 hours. And all you got to do is pursue that and educate your gift. This is not a job. This is not a hustle. It's a career. It changes lives. The person that I hang around, man, he's on Netflix. He's on The Look. He's in movies.
Right.
All because he do allegedly what we call do hair, but he's a licensed professional.
Right. Absolutely.
Just like all of us licensed professionals.
Right.
It's very key.
Right. Huge. I'm glad you said that. I love touching on that. Because that's just major. It's a lot more that goes behind just cutting hair that a lot of people don't realize and take for granted. So I'm definitely glad you touched on that and put it in those words. For me, as we're winding down.
Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 minute, brother. Give me 1 minute. 1 minute. There we go.
That's what's up.
Right.
So with all that you've accomplished and you continuing to elevate in your craft, what is your short and long term goal in the industry?
Well, my short term goals is really just keep applying pressure with every chance that I get. Okay. Keep continuing my education. Keep growing. I'm not done with competing, not yet by a long shot.
That's what's up.
We've been closed too long.
Right.
Me, myself, and a host of other people. All the killers is finna come out as soon as they say it's a barber show going on.
Right,
I'm planning on being in the midst of all of them. Not just for the competition, to meet everybody, shake hands.
Right.
It's gonna feel different now that I'm an educator.
Right.
And looking at things like that. But that's just what it is. But my long-time goal is I'm gonna go back home and I'm gonna go to several other places and I'm gonna teach the world my future product line and my cuts. I'm gonna inspire the next version of me. I'm gonna leave it to my children and my children's children, and we're gonna teach the world what real passion and what this stuff can really do for you. Because I really want to do my part in this industry.
That's what's up.
If I can, I'm gonna get away from the money one day. I'm just gonna go into teaching and doing my part.
That's what's up. The legacy.
Go ahead. Okay.
No, go. Yeah.
Something just popped in my brain, and maybe it's not my place to say this, Ash, but I'm gonna say it anyway. We live in a community that there is no barber school. There is cosmetology. So when you said, like long-term, what your goal is as far as just educating and pushing the industry forward as an instructor, what would you say to people that have that that goal to maybe be an instructor to move the industry forward, but the infrastructure of not having a barber school it doesn't exist where they're at? Is that something? Have you been in a place where the infrastructure's always been there, so you've been able to, like the mentors that have been in there, but just to say in our community is really that doesn't exist? Would a Bobby Harris take that time, come here, and just be like, all right, I'm gonna show you how to get it going. I'll stay here. I mean, just hypothetically speaking.
Yeah, it is. If there's not a school around, or if there is a school and you want me to come, I'm gonna come. I mean, to this day, with all the accolades and everything that I've mentioned, I still go back to Boston's cosmetology, and I offer my skill set. I teach these young guys what it is and what this industry has to offer. I actually brought the BronnerBros trophy back home because it's a hole-in-the-wall school. It's not a major corporation school. It's just a school. And I brought it back home to them to show them that, hey, anything can happen.
That's what's up.
It's not about where you're from. It's about where you're going to and where you're headed to. You have to make that mind up. If that's what you want to do, then you got to go chase it. All of my friends, a lot of people that I hang around don't want to do what I do. Right. They might do what I do, but they don't want to do what I do.
Right.
They don't. They and some of them laugh at what I do. but I cannot worry about what infrastructure does, because that's that infrastructure with another narrative. And truth be told, this is none of my business. I got to focus on the infrastructure of myself, because the infrastructure of myself is what's going to push the industry forward. And you know, again, it's all about doing your part.
That's what's up.
And if somebody, it doesn't matter. I offer free classes all the time. Like if I'm on Clubhouse and a lady asked me the other day, I'm struggling with that. I'm like, well, you know, DM me. I'll shoot you my phone number. However you choose to do it, we'll set up a Zoom, and I'll just give you a free virtual one-on-one to show you exactly what to do. It's not hard. It's all about each one teach one.
That's what it is.
That's what's going to set this industry apart. That's what's really going to make this industry better, when we can get away from the money and the old infrastructure and rebuild a new one with unity and not afraid to give something back.
Absolutely. That's what's up.
Yeah, you know, because I just was thinking about our situation in our community and just
yeah.
You know, you go ahead.
It's really rough, and what he's touching on, Bobby. We live in a community, so we're in Champaign, Illinois. So we're about 132 miles south of Chicago, Illinois, right? And there hasn't been a barber school here in over 30 plus years. He have one of my barber brothers. He's in the process of trying to put that together. But with that being said, a lot of young men who have the ability, and even people who presently cut hair, unfortunately, are cutting and don't have license. And so for a person like me who aspires to open a barbershop, it's really hard to recruit barbers when you want to set a bar and do it the right way. You know what I mean? I'm not willing to open up a shop, bring unlicensed barbers. Everything has to be professional and set the bar. And so he's just referring to that, because it's really difficult to you know, reach your plateau in areas that you want to, when you can't pull and bring young guys up, you know, under you and kind of show them the way and the possibilities within this industry, man. My goal is to get some of these young guys and bring them to shows, BronnerBros. Matter of fact, the Tennessee show, my son is a barber. He has to go ahead and finish up, take his test, but he's completed barber school. But we had to send him to another city, my wife and I. And, you know, by the grace of God, we were fortunate enough to do that, but everybody can't. We're going to bring him, and he'll attend his first barber show. And I really want him to see what the industry has to offer. And I think it'll be mind-blowing and life-changing for him. But, you know, it's so many of these young guys that they're not interested, and I'm guilty of it too. At the time, I didn't have an interest, in the cosmetology scene. And so now, even with that being said, we've dwindled down to where at one point in time, man, we had 3 cosmetology schools, and now we only have 1 cosmetology school. And so things are dwindling down, but the industry in and of itself, as you mentioned earlier, is continuing to rise. So yeah, it's, you know, I'd like to build with you and pick your brain at some point in time, just about those opportunities and just some advice and direction in trying to create that next generation of barbers, you know, in the community in which we live in. Yeah, it's pretty beautiful. It's pretty interesting, man. It's sad, is really what it is, but
yeah,
you know, yeah, I'll definitely pick your brain with that.
Okay.
Another question. I got 2 more questions for you myself. So with all that you do, the competition, and I know, you know, the pandemic has set us back. So we haven't been at it as hard as you know, we could be, especially in terms of barber shows and whatnot. But with all that you do within the industry, do you experience burnout? And if so, how do you manage it?
I do my hardest to stay away from the burnout things. I do my hardest to stay away from it, because, you know, sometimes it is challenging. You don't want to get up, you don't want to come to work, you're tired and stuff like that. But, you know, how I fight that and how I manage that is I remind myself of an old dream, you know, old promise that I made to somebody. And, you know, You just have to get up and strive for it. You have to push even when you don't feel like you can push. You have to give it one more, just one more haircut. I say that every day. That's my thing. One more cut, one more opportunity, one more. Because one thing about this pandemic is showing you just don't know exactly how long you have your gift that you love to do.
Absolutely.
You just don't know in an instant they can tell you can't do it no more. And then my mom always say you never know what you got till it's gone.
Absolutely. That's a good point.
And so my way of managing is that mantra, and I stay away from all negative people.
That's what's up.
I laugh at most of them.
That's what's up.
I laugh at most of them. I don't try to go back and forth with them. I don't try to, initiate the conversation with them. I lead by example. I don't ask to be the example. I just lead by example. I'm not going to beg you to come to the show. I'm just going to go.
That's what's
and
up.
if you want to really walk this journey, let my influence of me and my courageousness be an influence to you versus it's just me and something that seems so mediocre. Because I honestly don't think, despite the fact of how tired I get, despite the fact of how much energy it takes, I honestly don't believe I can get tired of doing this. Because I remember what it's like when I wasn't doing this.
You feel me?
And I could have.
You feel me?
I remember what it's like when it's not doing this. So, the love for this industry is what propels me.
That's what's up. That's what's up. That's when it's not a job, That's what's up. Often one of the Barber brothers used to always tell me before I just went full throttle to doing it full time, he said, look, man, you got a gift. And as long as you are passionate about your gift and do right by it, God will make a way for it. You're going to be all right financially as long as you do what you need to do. And I'll never forget that and went at it. And it's been a win ever since, just going full throttle.
We was all born to do it. We was all born to win, bro. That's just bottom line. We was all born to win. If you don't love it, then you can't expect nobody else to love it for you.
Absolutely.
Everything starts with you, man.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So for me, man, the last question, Jinx, I don't know if you have any more questions, but one question just on a personal level. If there was one person from any era that you could put in your chair and cut just one time, who would it be and why?
My Uncle Michael.
That's what's up.
That's who it'd be.
That's what's up.
If the roles could reverse, and
that's
if God could just bring him back for one day where I could just talk to him about everything that I'm doing, and it could be that one last haircut, I would give it to him. I would. That's who I'd want to do it to. That's who I'd want to have a conversation with, and that's who I would really want to talk to, because it gets hard. It gets hard when he ain't here. It gets hard, but I really believe he left me his gift for a reason, and he left me those clippers for a reason. And you living it out. I got one more. I'm living it out. I got one more. Just stay tuned to my Instagram page, because I know he know, and I know he looking down watching, but I just want him to know what I mean. And I promise him I'll never let him down. That's who I want to cut one time.
That's what's up. That's what's up. And that's
yeah.
That's
I
was
going to ask you about Memphis and
that's one to go out on.
I can't. Yeah.
That's one to go out on. Yeah. Man, I personally just want to thank you, man. On behalf of both of us, man, just sharing your story, inspiring. Man, you're masterful at what you do. I admire not only your barber skills, but the fact that you do so many things. It's inspiring, it's motivational. And man, we just really appreciate you taking the time out to share with us and be on this platform. We greatly appreciate it, bro. Greatly appreciate it.
Man, I appreciate y'all, bro. I appreciate y'all, man. Anything I can do to help. Anything I can do to help, man.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, Jinx, you want to close us out, man?
Yeah, this is the I Cut My Way Out podcast. Special guest, Bobby Harris at I_am_Bobby Harris. We know you're gonna love this one. Awesome, man. Awesome story. We're everywhere.
Then go check his workout. If you haven't seen him, check the man's workout.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yep. So we're everywhere where you can listen to podcasts. Hey, until next time, yes. Peace.
And one other thing, as we close out, Bobby, I always make a point to close out and just thank the Clipper companies, Andy's Wall, Barbers, Caliber Pro, just everybody, Oyster. Because without them, we couldn't do the things that we do. We couldn't cut our way out. Absolutely. And with that being said, man, salute, and I appreciate you.
I enjoyed myself, man, and y'all stay blessed.
Hard times, my mom had to do it all, working 2 jobs to provide while I pursue the ball. Hoop dreams, no problem doing my own thing. Stepped in the world to get a win for the home team. Laced the sneakers for the crowd in the bleachers. This might get away from the lesson life teaches, but 5'9" don't follow the league guideline. Heart of a champ, but I gotta tuck my pride now. Off to college for the knowledge, try my hand at math. But one call from back home really changed my path. My firstborn, now I got a mouth to feed. Told the Southeast I got a whole new route to lead. Young father, odd jobs, every day is real. Turn to the streets to try to eat or maybe pay a bill. Not proud of it, but I got it cooking good. But prison time on the mind wasn't looking good. I can't afford the price, so I tried the corporate life. Something wasn't sitting right. Every night I'm tossing light. They don't appreciate all my hard work, so I went ahead and jumped, let the Lord work. Beer culture 2020, yeah, we taking over. From the Clippers to the hoodies that be draping over. I put the Clippers in my hand. I got a whole different plan. I gotta see how this play out. Hoping that it pay out. Trying to cut my way out. Yeah, I put the Clippers in my hand. I got a whole different plan. I gotta see how this play out. Hoping that it pay out. Trying to cut my way out.